Thank you for coming. I know y'all had to, but thank you so much for the guests in the room that had to come. It really is such a great pleasure to be able to introduce what we've been working on all semester to y'all. My name is Alex Withers. I'll let everyone introduce themselves.
I'm Bentley Hill.
I'm Paola Carpio.
And I'm Stephen Charwest.
Yeah, so we will be talking about the analysis of social media presence for a startup company. So the company that we have been working on is a nonprofit startup called #StopMindingYourOwnBusiness. So just to let y'all know a little bit about what this nonprofit is about, I have a couple notes from what they've been trying to decide what they stand for in the community and just as a nonprofit. So they are using it as an opportunity to encourage and activate individual and community involvement in life-saving mental health solutions. So in order to do that, they need that community involvement. So that's where social media comes in. Social media is a huge presence, and we're going to talk about it more in our primary data and in our secondary data, and then I'll go into the conclusions and the recommendations.
Okay, hi again, I'm Bentley, and I'm going to be talking about our primary data. Like Alex was saying, we had to define the purpose first and foremost in data collection, and the purpose of this was to provide recommendations for establishing a social media presence on for #StopMindingYourOwnBusiness. And this was like literally starting from ground zero, which is actually kind of a privilege, and it was actually a good thing to start from ground zero for something like this. So what we got to do is define the purpose, and then we got to look at the secondary research. After looking at the secondary research as a team, we were able to determine the 10 questions that we thought best represented this data that we got to bring into the St. Edward's community. The distribution of the surveys to a small sample, which is our classroom, and then we took those edits, applied them, provided them to our professor, applied those edits, and then got approval from the client. Feedback was applied, and then we distribute those surveys. After doing so, we applied those to our convenient sample, which means our St. Edward's community faculty and students, which is approximately 5,000 people total was our opportunity. So we did online and hard copies, so which gave us the opportunity to send mass emails out to all of our classmates, to the faculty, as well as in the classroom be able to pass out all of the hard copies and be able to gather them. And so a total of 391 were distributed, 356 were returned, 57 were hard copies, and 334 were online. So 74% were online, and 100% of hard copies were returned, and I'll explain what that means in a moment. And then we divided all of those into age groups, 17 through 19, 20 through 22, 23 through 26, and 27 plus. So this is just a little graph of kind of how that worked. So when we divided it up, so we administered 70 to that 17 through 19 age group, and we got 70 back, and so forth and so on. And this kind of describes like how the validity worked for those. But how we determined the validity is if we got a survey back and one question was not answered, we decided that was still valid. That it wouldn't deter our research too much. But if more than one was not answered, or if it was answered incorrectly, then we threw it out. So that left us with 347 valid surveys. Again, 74% online, 100% hard copies. And then we tallied them all. The good thing about the online data that we had is that it put them all in a spreadsheet for us, and then we tallied and counted the rest and put them in ourselves for the hard copies. And so then we organized them, and we picked the 5 questions that we felt best represented the data and our purpose. Again, our purpose saying how can we bring a social media presence for Stop Minding Your Own Business? And these were the 5 questions. Do you currently participate in a nonprofit campaign or event? How likely are you to join a trending hashtag to raise awareness for a cause you support? Are you more likely to click on a banner ad in support of a nonprofit? What platform or media do you use, and how effective are the types of adverts below capturing your attention to social media? And here are the results. And we will explain the significance of these results in a few minutes after these results gave us the necessary information to then go forth with our secondary analysis. But our results were actually really surprising and really gave us a lot of information and things that I was actually pretty surprised about. But again, so are you more likely to click on a banner ad? And I don't know if any of you guys on Facebook, the banner ads are like what you see when you're scrolling down, and then it will kind of, a restaurant will come up, or something, or a business will come up, and if you're interested in it, you'll click on it. And that's kind of what we were talking about with those banner ads. And then next. So do you currently participate in a nonprofit? This one was really surprising. Our 27 plus was a really active participant in nonprofits. The rest were pretty low. The most effective type of data, this was pretty neutral. People like to see personal stories, they like to see videos, they like to see pictures. As advertisements all around. How likely are you to join a hashtag, a trending hashtag? And this was all over the charts, and this gave us a lot of information. Hashtags are something it's kind of a new thing, right? So you see on Twitter, it's a new thing with social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And so this was a really critical question for us to analyze and then go on with secondary research, which we did. And then the social media platform, this is would you use more? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat? And these are the biggest social media platforms. And this was also really critical information for us. And so I will hand this over to our secondary data.
Okay, so after analyzing the results of our primary data, we came up with 3 of the most important questions that showed significant results and unique trends in the data. So the first question was, what platforms and social media do you use? In which we saw that Facebook dominated the social media platforms. The second question was, how likely are you to join a trending hashtag to raise awareness for a cause that you support? In these results, we saw that young people are 40% more likely to use a trending hashtag, and 27 plus group don't use hashtags at all. And then the third question was, do you currently participate in a nonprofit movement or awareness campaign? In which we just saw that young people is not as interested or in participating in nonprofits as they are in the group of 27 plus. So our secondary research is based in 2 main sources. The first source is the Pew Research Center, which is an American fact tank based in Washington, D.C., and it treats topics like social issues, public opinion, and demographic trends all over the world. And then we also used Nonprofit Hub, which is an online educational community which desires to give nonprofits all they need to better their organizations and their community. So we divided our secondary research in 3 main categories. The first category is hashtagology. Hashtagology is the study of tactful and useful effectiveness of hashtag use, which is a new topic, and it increased and it came as a result of its use in social media, specifically on Twitter. This studies in hashtagology give 3 main recommendations or facts. The first one is that hashtags should be used by businesses to communicate with their audience. The second one is that each social platform has its own best practice to use hashtags. And the third one is that businesses and nonprofits need to measure and analyze their hashtag campaigns in order to build a long-lasting relationship with them. Also, the Interbrand 100, which is a global brand consulting and publisher that annually gives this report about the top 100 brands in the world, said that having adopted that most of the top 100 brands in the world have adopted the hashtag use almost completely. And also, our main goal is to make hashtag Stop Minding Your Own Business a top trend. But we consider that we actually found that Facebook joined the hashtag use in July of 2013, which is pretty late. So although Facebook dominates the social media usage based on our primary data, we think that Stop Minding Your Own Business should start the use of hashtags using Twitter and then continue the conversation on Facebook.
Okay, hey everyone, my name is Steven again, and I'll be picking up where Paula left off with more secondary research findings. I do want to reiterate the importance of us doing this secondary research in the first place. The whole point in us digging around trying to figure out more about growing social media presence for nonprofits is the fact that we want to kind of confirm the results of our primary data collection in the first place. We want to validate it, we want to correlate it and see if, given our sample size of 300, given our sample population of 5,000, is this true elsewhere in the world? Is it true for Texas? Is it true for the United States, for example? So something I want to touch on from the primary data is that Snapchat is more popular than Facebook for the younger crowd according to our primary data, and that surprised me, and I decided to pursue that with secondary research, as I've been talking about, which confirmed from Nonprofit Hub that while Snapchat usage among younger people is up, people are using it more frequently than Facebook, whether or not you can capture that market as a nonprofit remains to be seen. So according to Nonprofit Hub, at least, results were inconclusive. So, getting young people interested in nonprofits. So Facebook currently has 150 million people who are pledged to a cause, following a cause that they support on Facebook. And the two major social media platforms would then be Facebook and Twitter, with those comments about Snapchat confirming that. So the one thing that our research showed in growing social media presence was that the importance of interconnectivity among kind of where you are represented on the internet. And so what I mean by that is the recommendations from Nonprofit Hub state that you don't want to bait people into only visiting your website. So for instance, having the only way you communicate with your advocates is via email newsletters, let's say. Instead, the recommendation is you make a post on Facebook, you tweet out, hey, there's a new post on our blog, check it out, and that's how you reach out to them. So in other words, you're going to your end users, you're delivering content right away. You're not trying to say, hey, over here, I have things that are, that I want you to look at, which we found particularly important. So hashtag usage. So as Paula mentioned, there's a term coined by the marketing firm Terakeet, which is hashtagology, or kind of the study of whether or not hashtags are effective and what's going on with them. So according to the Pew Research Center, these are the most used hashtags by nonprofits that successfully started trending, that really got some movement behind them. So they are most frequent to least frequent, hashtag volunteer, causes, donate, change, and activism. And so for me personally, in looking at this, the thing I see that's common among all five is the lack of specificity, just how broad those terms are. So hashtags, in a way, should be a way of matchmaking potential advocates to your cause. And so these aren't going to be the only hashtags that we would recommend you put when updating the world on what's going on with your organization. Instead, you would lead with whatever's most applicable to your nonprofit, and then at the end, throw these on at the tail end, so that if people are out there saying, hey, I want to support something, but let me just browse and figure out who's talking about volunteering, who's talking about activism. So these wouldn't necessarily replace however you want to market yourself, but instead just be on the tail end to get picked up by that.
So our conclusions or findings, after having sampled considerable portion of the St. Edward's student population and faculty, the following conclusions were made. So the St. Edward's University respondents in the 17 to 22 age group are more likely than older respondents to join a trending hashtag. We are the type of people, I say we because I'm part of that group, we are the type of people that are always on social media. We are the scrolling culture. And it just happens so that because we are so frequent on that social media, it is really ingrained that we want to be a part of the next new thing. So how many of you guys remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge? That's a hashtag, and that is for a cause. So that is something that was trending all over, and it got really big. So just to keep that in mind. And then in the 27 plus age group, 89% of the respondents are currently participating in nonprofit campaigns. That is amazing. I was very shocked by that when we got our research. Maybe St. Edward's is just a really good school and we're all philanthropists here, but it really was very shocking and maybe something to look into when finding your audience. So the respondents in the 17 to 19 age group are more likely to click on a banner ad in support of a nonprofit than any other age group. Banner ads tend to get annoying or bothersome, so we talk about that in our recommendations. But going on to the secondary. So as Stephen and Paula were talking about, the Facebook claiming 18% of the market. So that is the most used social media platform. 63% of the US smartphone owners use Facebook, more than any other platform. And then Nonprofit Hub states that younger givers tend to gravitate towards online donations, but many of them are accessing these websites through their mobile devices. So what Stephen was talking about. Moving forward to our specific recommendations. So like I just said, smartphone owners do use Facebook more. So just making sure that you do have that social media presence. And because through our research of finding which platform works best for the hashtag stop minding your own business, we found that Twitter and Facebook were the two strongest. So we went ahead and made you a Twitter page. So this is what it looks like. You have the freedom to keep it, delete it, not even see it again, or update it and continue from there. We also made a Facebook page that looks like this. It looks a little weird here, but so yeah, so it's just a page that people can like. We felt free to, on Twitter, start following St. Edward's, the Health and Counseling Center here, UT Health and Counseling Center, and we'll touch about that more in a second. So I talked about one of our recommendations is to hire a social media intern to be able to focus on that. There are so many people, especially in the Dallas area where this is based out of, that a college student, just have them work their first semester and just keep updating the Twitter or Facebook page. It really could be a good use of someone's time to just have them there. And as we mentioned before, Twitter does play a critical role in hashtag trending. And it really, we recommend coupling a specific advertisement like Stephen was saying. So something general to something more specific, and then end it with hashtag stop minding your own business. And then, so another recommendation was to not only limit it to banner ads, because they do get annoying, like I said before, to include personal stories, videos, anything personal. People want to hear about people and the good things that people do to help each other and enjoy community. Anyways, the users accessing these websites are on smartphones, the majority of the ones that we found. So just to make sure that the website is user-friendly, and here's a link. Once we send you this website, you can access this link, and it shows you how to make a website user-friendly. Another thing we talked about was the age group that we believe hashtag Stop Minding Your Own Business should be focused on, or easiest to focus on currently to start up is the college population. So getting in contact with the Health and Counseling Center of the universities surrounding you, just to get your name out there and start promoting awareness. So here we put the St. Edward's Health and Counseling Center with the director's phone number and his name. He's awesome, so just reach out to him if you feel that would be beneficial to you. And then the UT as well, Health and Counseling Center. And just to conclude really quickly, we talked about the recommendations that we do, the primary research that supports those recommendations, and the secondary research. Did you have anything to add? No? Anyone have any questions for us?
What do you mean when you say Facebook